folks, we're having my version of fun for a few days, so this is not a committed project or anything like that. It is basically, I'm gonna call it an art rod. That's kind of, maybe that, I don't know. It's gonna be yard art, but I wanna see what I can do with just garbage I have lying around the yard. So I don't plan to buy any parts. I would like it to run and drive. I think that'd be really cool. But basically, I think I want to build a little bobber pickup, but I'm only going to spend a few days at it. At least that's my thought, my plan. We're going to recycle a bunch of parts that we took off that 66. So the plan is it's going to be like big wheeled, bobber style, pickup cab, open engine, and like running big wheels and stuff like that. So first thing I gotta do is go around the yard. I have a cab that I'm thinking about using, possibly the hood and the grill. I have just the junk that was a hay wagon, so that's the chassis, so it would have some good steel to use. I plan to have it drive, steer, possibly brake. Nah, I will give it some brakes, at least some front brakes, because I did cut the hose on the other one, and I don't, you know what? In the big picture of things, in the end, it's going to end up sitting on the bank of the pond here, and it'll just be something cool to look at. And well, we'll see what we can do with what little parts we have. Well, we got a good stash of parts, but I'm not going to throw a lot of good stuff at this thing. Again, this is something that's never going to be on the road, and it's basically going to have a tour up and down the road, and that's probably about it. So might not be everybody's cup of tea. This is what I think is fun to do. So anyways, let's get started. Well, this might actually turn into something a lot cooler than I think. Look at that. Man, that is... Oh man, what did I just do? Golly, that is kind of neat. That might be a much cooler yard donkey than anything else. Golly. How would that be for a little side by side? Oh man, that is awesome. God, check that thing out. If I can make it do that and just sit off the ground, I may not put it up by the pond. Well, I mean, maybe I will, but it won't sit in the one dedicated spot. I got to be able to drive it. Crap, that's cool, man. So as far as parts go, my thought was there's this frame. You can see how completely garbage it is. Like, that is hacked, it's cracked and welded everywhere. So it's just junk I don't care about. So I can kind of, it's free steel, I can cut it, we can do whatever. Like I said before, had an idea of maybe trying to use these as front frame rails. I think that'd be pretty wild. And then in the end, if I can do it, it'd be neat to have that grill. But now I'm questioning that. But anyways, that grill with the hood on it. So it's not really an open engine. Now it's a matter of, can I fit everything with the stuff that's here? Golly. So if I can do this all, it'd be pretty wild that this would work. Maybe we would just hack this thing apart and somehow try to make this into like a cowl steering maybe. I've never done that and I think that'd be kind of funny. Or fun. Inside of the truck's kind of neat. Somebody was starting to graft in this Tri-5 dash, but I'm missing some of the bits. So, but not that it's gonna get done or anything. It was just, I thought it was pretty neat. So let's hobble some more parts together here and just kind of see. I'm just curious how if the rails will work, because we can channel the body. That's not a big deal to get it low. I'm trying to do minimal effort. So I'm thinking if I can use those spring perches, you can see how the springs don't actually go to the back. So that one main leaf just hooks into the pack and it just kind of is what it is. I don't want to buy parts or do anything. So I'm going to see what we can do here. Maybe I'll just make a really junky 2-link and just put a booger of spring over top. I'm kind of questioning some of this because this thing's kind of cool. All right, anyways, let's grab those fronts. I'm just going to lay them out there and we'll see what it looks like. Try to figure out roughly what, if I use these springs, if everything would kind of look semi-normal-ish. Like there's plenty of room for the motor because I don't care if that motor's like way inside. This is evolving past just a goofing around here, I think. You got to imagine now, this thing can never be this plan is never to get on the road, but because these are like these crazy split rims, nobody around here is going to touch them. I don't want to touch them. Anyways, let's move this ahead a little bit so I can see what those horn things would look like. Well, our power's been out for most of the day, so I haven't been able to do too much. But I did position up those rails. I had another set of rails, but I don't know that I like that look. Anyways, check it out. So I kind of dig this idea. And part of me is like, probably going to take this a little bit fancier than I wanted to, because this thing just looks so cool. So anyways, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use these as the rails. I don't know where I'm going to cut them and do it. I think in the back I am just going to bob it, go up. I want the wheels actually to be closer. And then, well, we're probably going to do whatever. Typical small block transmission. They're probably going to be mounted pretty high. So there's going to be a big hump in there of some kind going through for the drive shaft. I do have a 6-cylinder. I wouldn't mind putting a V8 because it'd be kind of cool with zoomies, but I kind of want to bring the tire in closer yet. So I don't know that it really matters what I use for a motor, but the V8 is going to be kind of small and it'll just work with the steering. I think you could flip it around. I could go, you know, left-hand drive. That'd be an option. Or right-hand drive. There we go. Right-hand drive. Could do that, but I don't know. Kind of keep it pretty simple yet. Unfortunately, I didn't get too much time to actually look at it today. All I did was I moved those over. We lost power. And then I just proceeded to work in the pond. So we'll see where we get. I'm digging around. I think I have a lot of the parts. Just because this thing's getting stepped up a little bit better. Like I was actually just going to weld the axles to the frame and do whatever, but now I think I'm going to try to make a little bit of suspension, do a couple things like that. So I have a bunch of Heims that I had that were burnt in the other shop, but they'll be good enough for what we're going to do on here. I'm not going to really waste good parts on it, so to say. So we'll probably make up ourselves, I don't know if it'll be a wishbone or it'll be something like that for the front. And the rear, we'll probably do like, I don't know, like some really small, like a ladder bar or something like that, like a 2-link is the idea. Probably a mono spring front back, not a mono, but like a parallel spring front and back. I thought originally I was going to use these springs, but you can see how high they are, and it just, I don't know. Although Buddy did reinforce that firewall like excessively high that it could be doable, but meh. We'll cut the plates, we'll make a simple bracket. Just simple, but it'll be functional. That's kind of the goal. I don't know if the hood and junk will work, but I would like to have at least the grill. That'd be kind of cool. To at least get this grill section in the front would be kind of neat. Not too concerned about that because, well, I'm basically just trying to rummage through my stuff and not grab like a good motor, like a motor that runs, but it can smoke or it can do whatever. I don't care because, well, I don't know, I would say it'd be a yard donkey, but kinda. It'd be a little bit of just touring some back roads maybe or something, but anyways, yeah, till tomorrow. Tomorrow's another day, and we'll play then. Till then, I'm gonna keep putting around in the pond, and we're gonna call her a day at that. All right, see you guys tomorrow. I am wandering around to collect parts. Reason being, I have this chassis which is super hot garbage, but if I use those other chunks of rail, I'm not going to use very much of this whatsoever. Like, I might use a sliver out of here. Not that it's any good for anything, but if I got something smaller, I think that would be like way more ideal. This might be good to mock something else up down the road, but I don't think I want to quite use that, but I got to walk around, do a little inventory, and maybe I got some different steel I could use. I really need to do a little bit under the cab, and then we're going to do a kick up in the back. I'm not sure what I'm doing in the back yet. I'm not going to use those other rails. They just don't seem right. But let's wander and have a peek-see at junk that I got. Well, over here, those look relatively straight. This was my old plasma table that I made, which is pretty much hot garbage, but you can see that kind of went swing. But this looks like 2x2, but it almost looks like it's 3/8 wall, so I mean, not ideal for a real chassis, but I think for goofing around, these might do the trick. Feel better about that, and then I don't have to channel it so hard. Heh, neat. Alright, I'm gonna make a note of that. Yes, this might end up being an art project yet. This thing's so far gone. This was a 4-door, I think a 48 Buick that a buddy had started this and turned it into a 2-door. Was making it like a fastback and then widening it with the fadeaway and stuff. It's pretty cool, but that's not my cup of tea, some of it. The way he widened everything. I think he was going to put it on a different chassis, so he was trying to make everything fit to that chassis, but this one's a huge project. You can see this side's not really done. I mean, overall, neat. Might end up on the pond, I think, and that's what I'm going to do with it. But, ooh, this is rather unfortunate. Yesterday, our power was out just due to winds. And this is kind of the unfortunate part, is it happened to land on my sheet metal pile. That's pretty lame. I wonder how bad that is. I don't know. I mean, some stuff looks pretty plastered in there. That one, like a Model A fender, looks like it got kind of hosed. A couple of the T fenders got kind of pushed out of the way, but I don't know. I guess I have to deal with this eventually. There's the other, my loose steel rack used to sit in front of my shop, but everything's kind of small. I don't see anything kind of big to use here. There's some strapping and a few other things. Few loose ends. Not sure what I can or can't use here yet, but it's a good mental note that there's some stuff there. Here's where we're at before we start cutting and doing stuff. I was digging around in the shop and I realized I had a bunch of these pallet racking like shelves. Now, before you say they're the weird ones, these are actually like straight 2x6. I don't know how thick the wall is, but it's a little aggressive, but it won't take up too much floor space in the truck. And it's just long enough that it should work. So we can trim these back. I'm still unsure about the back. I think it's just going to be a straight up wall. Toying with the idea of using the springs and doing like a quarter elliptic thing, but I don't know if I'll do that just yet. We'll see. I've never done it, so it'd be a good time to play with it. But that should reach out here. I think if we go, I can't go much wider. Well, it depends how I do the springs. I guess we could go inside, that would work. I mean, it's not a real hot rod, so that seems a little narrow for me. Let's unbolt a bunch of junk and then maybe I'll cut these, get them to what I think they should be, and then we'll figure out whether I can actually, like, I'd like to use the quarter elliptic, would be cool, but that spring is so far. It's kind of zany to do that, I think. And I kind of want to get this stuff off so I can spin this around and see if I can use this steering box or not. I mean, I have other steering boxes, but this one works. It just, on that truck, it used to be mounted up in the front here, and I want to swing it to the back, whether it goes into the cowl or not. I mean, if I go cowl, that just makes a whole bunch of work, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes, because the inside of this thing is like beef, but the firewall is only as strong as the sheet metal around it, so, because everything's, it looks like it's about 10 gauge for the firewall, and then 1 by 1 everywhere, which is pretty braced up. We're gonna have to cut a lot of that out, but whatever. For a little toy rod or whatever you want to call it, it'll be fine. Okay, I'm gonna get some springs off and maybe cut those rails to something I think is good and maybe zap them to the front of this thing, and we'll go from there. Well, that worked out pretty good. Not too bad. The frames, well, I like the height. I like the kick. The grill, I don't know if it's usable. Well, I'm going to try to use it no matter what, but I might end up shortening the sides and I'll just stick maybe some tractor lights or something in there, because I think I have some sitting in a bucket or something up there. The rails are, those other pallet racking things are actually going to work really well. What I want to do is pocket these things in just so I can booger it up pretty nice onto everything. The width, normally around this time is when I'd be narrowing this up, trying to figure out for what a grill shelf fits in. So usually I always kick my rails in a little bit when I make them. I like to go as wide as I can and then kick them in. Because in the back, I like to have the back of my frame, usually if I'm making one anyways, that I like it to kick up towards the outside of the frame. So ideally would be like line the frame up over here, but it makes things all weird and stuff. And we're just going for simplicity on here. So we're gonna come in here. I don't know, I guess if it was longer, I could kick up different just because of the way these wheels are, but yeah, we're gonna do what we got. I do have a couple more of these, so if I really wanted, I could take those, kick them up. I was thinking of doing like a quarter elliptic spring, but everything about these springs, they're all too long. Other than that bottom one, I don't know. It's shorter. Maybe that one would work. Maybe not. I don't even know if that thing's... Yeah, I don't think it's quite. Otherwise, I could use that lower spring, and then we could make a lower link, and then we'd have our back suspension done. So I could tie it off of there, but we don't got it. So, we'll have to come up with a different plan. But we'll figure it out. Oh, I could always, nah. Thinking of making a bracket to sandwich and then I can hang the spring out, but maybe. I've never done one, so this would be a good experiment to see if that's like something I like and think is cool. Anywho, next plan of attack here. What I want to do is I'm going to cut these open, because you can see that 2x6 fits nicely inside, so I want to pocket it so this eye comes back into this and this matches up at the bottom or somewhere there. Like hopefully by the time I bring it down, everything kind of lines up a little better, and then these things can get pushed back under the cab. It'd be nice if these followed that profile up a bit. I'd probably pocket them in because I don't want them hanging under the cab. I want them to be pretty flush with the bottom of the cab, and then that way I can get that thing down to like 3-4 inches off the ground. That's kind of what I'm shooting for. And then that'll bring this back to a more respectable area, which I'd like this to tuck in a little more, but I don't know. We'll see. Like, it would be kind of cool if this thing was really, really short in my head, but be just wheels in a cab. Although that is a good like, you know, kind of got a good look, provided my grill doesn't go like way out there. Well, my grill sits pretty close here. Pretty sure the motor and stuff's going to be fine in this vicinity. Still not sure what I'm going to do for suspension in the front yet. Whether we still kind of take a crack at this quarter elliptic thing or not, I don't know. It'd be backwards though, so I don't know if that would work right if I had the eye in the back and not in the front. I don't know. I can experiment and find out. Nothing wrong. This is what this thing's all about. All right, what did we do? Well, I got distracted. I cleaned the tabletop because I hate that I can't weld on here because I had so much paint on here. I'm gonna try to make a habit of not painting on here, and I don't know what is in that white paint, but it was hard to get off. Anyways, here is the look of the rails. I dig it. We haven't brought the cab down or nothing yet, but overall that works. I don't know how far forward or back I'm gonna run that because we can extend it or not just by kicking it outside of the truck a little more. I think back here, yeah, you can see it's kind of poking out of there. So I don't know. I'll see where I want to run that. Didn't do very huge amounts of accuracy. All I did was I kind of marked out what I thought looked good, sat them on these little pins. I like that distance away from the axle, so that's good. Therefore, all I did now was we kind of mocked it up on here, torched this out with the plasma, and basically boogered it together. I made a little scribe on the table. We did the same cut on this other one, laid it in there, bunk, and now I'm just zapping it up. I'm just going to do a small little gusset on top here yet. Like, we'll do something into there, that kind of a realm. I don't know yet. I mean, I'm putting a little more effort into it than I care, but we'll try. Okay, so I'm going to finish welding this thing all up, and then we can set these two rails into there. And then I guess I'm going to try to... I guess soon I'm going to need my motor to figure out where the front axle is going to go. Though, we can try to make our kick up in the back. Maybe make some temporary braces to hold between the frame just to make like the frame rails straight. And maybe we'll try to figure out the rear axle or something like that. I don't know. I'm kind of making it up as I go here. So yeah, let me finish that up. We'll stick it underneath there. Maybe we'll plasma channel out so I can get that cab roughly about where I think it should be. And then the rails are sort of going to be where they will always be. I kind of digging the way this is going. Like if I keep it to the inside of here and I don't touch the cab, then we can make a pad here and make ourselves a set of wishbones or do something like that for the front. And then maybe we can just do a simple, with these random wishbones, we can probably make like a pin mount, and then, I don't know, I'll just look for a spring that I can put into there and we'll make a cross member and just put the spring in there. You want some food? Is that why you're here? You're hungry? All right, I'm gonna feed the dogs and finish welding up this brace, and then we'll throw it in the truck and see what it looks like. All right, so here's the game plan. Chassis on. Well, not really on. We have it mounted, but this hoist is kind of junky. It's not sitting very square, so I'm going to reset it on the pads, get it as, you know, level as I can. You even see the cab looks, but that's okay. I found a scrap pile or a piece of 2x4 by the other shop. And then I had some 2x3 on the rack. I had one piece over here, one piece over there. I got some 2x2, some 2x3. I don't know that this one's wide enough. I think it's 27 inches is what it works out in between. So that is a no bueno on that, but that's okay. So I want to get that level. I want to get the frame at least 4 inches off the ground. That's my goal. About there's where I'd like to be. Right height, somebody sitting in it. And so we'll have to probably channel the body a bit. No big deal. Ooh, the 2x3. I wonder. I'm trying to get it high enough that I would love to run the spring there, but that's just not going to work and make suspension parts. I'd really like to do this. You know, not the strongest of setups, but I'd like to do that, kick it back, give me about 4 inches of travel, because, well, there's no point in my travel being more than my frame off the ground. So do about 4 inches of travel, come back here, then we can do a spring mount, and then we'll just do a simple, just a crappy ladder bar dealio for the front. Now maybe we can just use one heim, make up some kind of a plate, and call the rear suspension done. Really, it's that simple. In my head, should be. We'll have to make a perch or something to hold the springs, or hold the spring. So part of that is, well, maybe we got to go a little higher. I don't know. We'll set it at 4 inches of travel, because if it bottoms, it bottoms, because this thing's going to just be hitting stuff anyways at that point. We're going to have to channel the body, so that's not a big deal. This is up a little on the high side, but kind of late. I welded it all, so it is what it is. I had a buddy who has, he's got an old trailer spring, so we're going to use that for the front. It's nice and narrow. I should be able to fit it in with little space that I have there. It's probably going to be like a 26-inch spring, so it'll be stiff, which is fine. The idea is we're going to make just a beam across here. We'll probably put the spring. I'll probably run it, I'm thinking just in front, because then should be able to still do the rad, and then we'll do that grill after. Frame is sitting at 27. Yeah, you can see how different this hoist is. It's just, I don't know. It's not a very good hoist, honestly. I mean, it works. Can't complain. It's just not even that old, and stuff looks like it's worn out on it. So I can't really recommend these ones. I think it's a Capital. That's what I bought, but it works for now. So everything's not quite straight. So we're going to put pads on and then screw it up till the frame sits level everywhere. And then I'd like to do some joiners, if that makes sense. I'd like to just weld some stuff on it to hold the frame in place. And then, well, the plan is back here. You can see we're going to do this and then back. We'll do a little gusset into there. And then we can hang the spring off the back. And then, like I said, we'll make up some mount up to a 2x2, and then we'll just do a 2-link. Like, it is, with 4 inches of travel, it's not designed, not going to articulate much. It'll be like a ladder bar kind of rear suspension. And then I'm thinking the similar is going to happen in the front. When we get to making this one, we're going to make a pad that sits on here, and then it's just going to be like a hairpin to, I'll make a mount down there or something like that for it. Yep. I'm thinking it's coming together. It's going to work. Well, I'll measure it out. I might pull the rails out, sit them on the bench, figure out what I'm doing there with the back. Then I can build everything on the workbench and then just snap it together. And I guess we could lay the body back on and then just torch out our inch. I don't know how much it sits. I think it was an inch difference. I don't know now. Nah, it's like almost 2 inches. So we'll probably have to do a 2-inch channel. Whatever, not a biggie. I just like the look of it, really low. Look pretty cool. Alrighty, let's keep plugging away here. Okay, so here is where we are at. We have the chassis is in place. Well, kind of. I still want to channel it, but it is sitting pretty. We built the kick up in the back. I kind of did it a little different than I thought. I ended up kicking it back at an angle, but I'm going to end up mounting the spring behind. I'm not too happy with this particular spring because it's going to require a lot of steel to get down into that area, so I'm a little mixed on it. If I can find a flatter spring, would be nice. I would like that personally, but it'll work. It'll work in a pinch because it's what I got, and I don't care that it goes to this. I'm thinking with this, like I say, it's nothing major for suspension. Like, it'll work. We'll probably just build like a ladder bar kind of thing. No biggie. The front, I'm a little undecided, but I think I know what I'm doing there. We have the said trailer spring, and I think when I make these hairpin dealios, I'll make a swing off the front so we can mount the spring. So the spring will probably sit just in front of the axle, and then off a set of like bat wings or whatever they would call them off the mount, and we can kind of make something there pretty easy. That gives us lots of room for a rad after, and that grill, once we modify it, to all get into there. So, I don't know. I'm pretty happy with progress. You have to remember, this is just essentially an art project, an off-road. It's not to the standards I would normally build something. This is just something to have fun. So, that's my take. Basically having a little fun, farting around with some stuff. Over on this front, Buddy's got his, what did he all do? He was working more on wiring, so that was kind of boring. Did do the exhaust last night, so we kind of got that all mocked up. It's not bolted in yet because we're waiting on some exhaust donuts. And we had to do some trickery on that one side to get around the steering box. So that one's got a snake around, like the steering box sits in this vicinity. So anyways, that's all dolled up. We got that all going. So this thing's a couple steps closer. Had a set of caps that I got at the swap meet that are pretty banged up, but they suit the truck really well, so we threw those on. And I don't know, looks pretty good. Anyways, this thing is very close to a roller. That's the goal next round, is actually to make it a roller. I'm thinking I was gonna dig around the shed, go grab a motor, but I think I'm gonna use that one that was in the Chevelle. I'll throw that in there for now. I'll try to set it up so it's just easy to pluck out whenever. I know we were going to use it in Rolly's car, so for now I'm just going to throw it in here, kind of get it set up. And then when I reorganize one of my sheds outside, I'll probably pull a different motor out that I can throw in here. But yeah, progress, we're getting there. Anyways, folks, I think that is where I am going to leave this video. So far I have a day and a bit into this thing, so, and like I say, it's strictly a toy, you know, because I know everybody's going to look at it, you can't do this, you can't do that, and no, you probably can't, but you have to understand what this thing is. It's not you're not going to see it on the road, I'll tell you that much. So anyways, as always, folks, I want to thank you all for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. Later.